Welcome to Deep Thought. Carefully choose your inner circle. You know, there's a saying, and I think it was attributed to Robert Kiyosaki, the writer of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, about people, men and women, people sharing basically the same income or having a similar income to the five people closest to them. And people have expanded that to other things. I'm going to tell you what, just from observation, and even before I knew that particular statement was attributed to Robert Kiyosaki, one thing I peeped, and this was with myself, and then I noticed it with other people, my energy would be similar to the people I'm hanging around at any given time. At any given time. And it's something we all do, really. We're just adjusting. We're just adjusting no matter who we are, where we at. Like I noticed if I'm around, I had an interesting background. I could hang with people in the streets, hanging with dudes in the streets. And, I noticed how my speech intonation would change and everything, my general behavior. But then I could hang around some very bourgeois, more nerdy type of dudes. And didn't mean it would change again. And from that's when I said, oh, okay, I can't follow the crowd. I noticed that when I was younger. And you got older, you stayed into it. But even with that, no matter how strong you stay within yourself, you tend to take on the energy of the people closest to you. Like if I look at anybody, I guarantee I can get an idea who they closest to. You learn a lot. In fact, I remember something Ayn Rand said, inspired by Ayn Rand in her book Atlas Shrugged, about telling something about somebody by the mate they choose, which you can tell by the person that a person actually chooses for a mate. Not who they want, but who they end up with says a lot about them. That's why you get a lot of couples that look alike. So, and I'm saying all this to say, going through life, choose carefully your inner circle. Choose carefully the five people closest to you. And that includes your mate too. Whoever you deal with, they need to reflect your values on a deeper level. Because just the nature of people, we're affected by the energy of the people we're around. Like somebody noticed, like in a relationship thing, let me get with that. I noticed times I'd be around like some men who were having trouble with women. It would be very uncomfortable for me because of my own energy, very uncomfortable. So I tried to limit my interactions. But when I'm around guys who, quite frankly, got multiple women and the biggest issue is managing those women, extremely comfortable. So that's one of the things. And that's every area in life. If you're trying to make money, one of the best things you can do is hang around people who are making money. Indeed, hold up. Let me go back to that relationship thing again. That's one thing I've told a lot of men in consultation who are having trouble getting women. I said, you got any friends who get women easily or acquaintances? And they were like, yeah, hang around them more. Hang around them more and see what happens. And I can actually say from personal experience, it works very well. It works very well. But that's the thing. You got to carefully choose your inner circle. You got to be conscious and not just go with the flow. Because that's how a lot of people get in trouble. There's a lot of people, men and women, who get in trouble and they can't figure out why things ain't working for them. It's like, hey, look at who you hanging around. You hanging around people who just going to party or, they into some negative energy and all of that. It's like, no. No. But if you around some people, say you get into an inner circle or even a mastermind group, as Napoleon Hill would call it, you'll notice things will go better. And things will go better. It's like I've accomplished a lot because if I look at who I stay in my inner circle, and when I say inner circle, people I will talk to, not acquaintances or even loose friends, but like inner circle, they can text me directly and everything. I noticed they're at a certain level, trying to succeed in life, making money, just doing some positive stuff. I've peeped that. And that's how I wanted, but I carefully chose that. Like when I encountered people and they weren't on that same vibration, if I had to interact with them, I did. But I did it from a position of strength. But I wouldn't be to the type I say, hey, let's hang out. Let's do this or that. And it's like, nah, that's not good for me. And that's not good for anybody. You got to pay attention to it, like everything. And let me get back into that mate thing. Your mate really is very much it's extremely a part of your inner circle. Because you're intimate with them. You're butt naked with them. So you really need to think about that. You really need to think about it. Every single woman need to think about who they hanging around. Like if you haven't, for the women listening on this channel, if you having trouble with men and a bunch of drama, you really need to look at some stuff. That's affecting you. And for the men that keep running into like some women, the women all about some drama doing all this stuff, that's a reflection of you. You need to change it. You need to change who you deal with. Like I'll say, for example, for myself, the women that I tend to be closest to, who I would call in my inner circle, are successful type of women, professionals, successful, doing something with their lives, on many levels. Some monetarily successful, some, I would say, spiritually successful. They know who they are. And so that supports me. And then in turn, I support them. You got to think about it because we tend to be reflections. See, your inner circle shows who you are. How often have we seen groups of, guys, women, whoever, and you just like there's always one that stands out. That person probably don't belong there because there's always an automatic hierarchy and everything. And you got to be conscious of it. You got to think about, okay, what I want to do in life. Like I'll use myself as an example again. Wanted to write. And then as I started being around men and women, close or otherwise, who are writers, I would click with them. Even some couple New York Times best-selling writers. I wouldn't say they were tight, but I could have a conversation with them easily. But that's how you do it. And you got to do that. You got to do that because when you're around people, whether you like it or not, they're going to affect how you think because you're interacting with them. You're going to talk about certain things. If you're around a group of people who just want to talk about some negative stuff, that's going to affect you at some point. That's going to affect you, But if you're around some people who say, hey, you know what? We're talking about making this money. We're talking about doing all this positive stuff. Hey, guess what? That's going to affect you too. So carefully choose who you're around. Carefully choose your inner circle. This ain't saying you can't be cool with somebody who don't necessarily fit in there, but notice I said, just be cool with them. They ain't in your inner circle. In fact, I would use a term one of my very good friends would say, circles within a circle. You have the inner circle, and then you have maybe an outer circle. They're your friends, but you don't talk about intimate things with them, like more private things with them. And then, even beyond that, another circle, these are acquaintances, people what I would call high friends. You see them around, you say hi. And then some people you just polite to if you happen to see them around. And it keeps getting bigger and bigger. But your inner circle, that's the main thing you need to focus on, okay? Really focus on it. Carefully choose it. All right? So that's all I have for today. Get back with y'all later. Peace and blessings.